morning all. We'll be starting in less than a minute. Okay, good morning everyone. Good morning everyone. Thank you. Welcome to Comrades House on this beautiful sunny Monday morning. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce myself. For those of you that may not know me, my name is Elaine Dele. I'm the Acting Race and Operations Manager of the Comrades Marathon Association. This morning we'd like to make a special welcome to our esteemed members of the media. The majority of our media are connected online or virtually across various platforms this morning. And for those of the media that could make it here, that are present here today, we're extremely grateful and appreciate your attendance this morning. Our Comrades media and the media that cover our race every year, and as well as cover anything that happens at the Comrades Marathon Association throughout the year, are highly appreciated by all of us. And our media is extremely important to the growth and development and sustainability of our beautiful race. I'd also like to a special welcome to the board of the Comrades Marathon Association, any CMA members that may be present, the CMA staff members, and all invited guests, and all protocols observed. Just a few house rules. If I can ask if everyone can please put their cell phones on silent or vibrate, so we do not disturb this morning's proceedings. Also, the bathrooms are, if you exit this venue, to your right. The male and female bathrooms are on your right-hand side. And if we can please ask all our guests this morning, the media as well, please can you ensure that you remain there after this press conference and join us for some light refreshments. Okay, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce the board of the Comrades Marathon Association. Seated to my left on the table here up front, the gentleman to my immediate left is Mr. Jeff Minnar, who is the current Comrades Marathon Association chairperson. And the gentleman to his left is Mr. Peter Proctor, who is the Comrades Marathon vice chairperson. The following board members are also welcomed. It's Mr. Sweetname Nkabinde, Ms. Pat Freeman, Mr. Telinkosi Makoba, Ms. Nontutuko Mashimane, Mr. Steve Mkasi, who is also the president of KwaZulu-Natal Athletics, Mr. Busani Ndlovu, and Mr. Isaac Ngwenya. I'm going to hand over to our Comrades Marathon Association chairperson, Mr. Jeff Minnar, who will be addressing all our guests this morning.
Good morning, everybody. And once again, I welcome you to this media briefing. We appreciate you giving up your time, but it's a very, very important media briefing for us. And I'm going to open with a media statement, a release of a media statement, which you'd find in your packs. The Comrades Marathon Association has decided to finally take a stand against cyberbullying, harassment, and defamation, and to clear all allegations of corruption, theft, fraud leveled against some of its previous and current board members and general membership. CMA Interim Chairperson, that's me. The CMA is committed to adding its voice to and contributing towards the online environment that is safe and inclusive for everyone. We would also like to take a stand towards combating cyberbullying, harassment and defamation, which have become so persuasive, persuasive issues affecting individuals in our own association. Cyberbullying, harassment and defamation involve the use of digital platforms to intimidate, threaten, demean and humiliate individuals. These harmful behaviors have been shown to have had a severe impact on an individual's emotional and psychological well-being, leading to anxiety, depression and even suicidal thoughts. I would personally like to thank the mainstream media, by and large, for not responding to the cyberbullying tactics and defamatory blogs that social media post and have been perpetrated and disseminated by some of the members of the running community, bloggers and podcast members. The CMA believes that everyone has the right to feel safe and respected online. To address this pressing issue, we are considering taking legal action against the perpetrators of these acts. We would like to ensure that some of the perpetrators of cyberbullying, harassment and defamation are held accountable and urge everyone to join us in this fight against such heinous behavior. We believe that it is in our best interest that we work together and strive to advocate for a safer and more respectful online community where genuine issues are dealt with in a respectful and engaging manner, and where all sides of the story are presented without bias or prejudice, free of slander, harassment and defamation. As I say, you've got copies of this in your media packs. And ladies and gentlemen, it is a very, very sad day that we have to stand here and try and defend the actions of our staff in the public domain. It took a lot of consideration for me to put my hand up and say yes to the request that I join the board. Because as you know, a lot has been said about the board of CMA. And bear in mind, all those people do it on a voluntary basis. But unfortunately, within our board, within our membership, we have people who are passing on confidential information to outsiders. Okay? I'm not going to mention any names of the people who have received information, and I don't look at anything that's on Facebook with regards to the Comrades Marathon Association because I've been put off the Comrades Marathon because that's what people talk about. They don't talk about the association. They talk about the marathon. And if those people want to destroy this race, they must just continue doing what they do now in the media. And I'm an old man, but this race is not going to see the end of the century if they continue with this blasphemous behavior in public. If you ever have a problem with anything that the Comrades Marathon Association does. We are here. We are open to you to sit down and talk to us, and we can resolve the problem within. We don't need to solve or try and solve a problem without. Our staff have been so emotional about the attacks on them, because remember, most of our staff work on Comrades Day as well. And the snide remarks that have been passed about them has really upset them and made our staff very, very unhappy. And as an old member of the association, it makes me very sad. I could be emotional now this morning. That's how I feel about it. So we ask you, the media, to stand behind us and not join the troop of people that are trying to put Comrades Marathon Association down and to destroy the race. My request to the staff who are going to answer questions that you may have, and the board members, please remember, it could be you that has got to answer such questions. Don't denigrate those people. They're here because they want to answer for themselves. And there's certain things they won't be answering for you, because those things are part of the cases that may be open, and I repeat, may be opened against people who have defamed our staff and our board. So certain things would be sub judice, and I'd respect if you respect their views. Okay. I now hand you back to Elaine, and thank you once again for being here. We look forward to having some tea with you afterwards.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Okay, we are going to be proceeding into a round of Q&A, or questions and answers, which will be primarily directed at our chairperson, vice chairperson, as well as myself, the acting ROM, or Race Operations Manager. However, if there are any other questions that you may want to ask any individuals or board members or staff members of the CMA, you are welcome to do so as well. And they will have the prerogative as to whether they would like to answer those questions. Okay. Anyone would like to kick off? Yes, ma'am.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. My name is Sipogazi Malinga from ANCA, and I just wanted to find out, obviously the Comrades name has been a bit tainted past few weeks following the meeting that was held, seeing the board members that had resigned as well. How then do you go about making sure that the runners, the people that love Comrades, still believe in the brand and would still like to participate in the Comrades Marathon next year? Thank you.
Hello? Am I on? How do you put this thing on?
It's on. Oi.
Thanks for that question, and I think I'm going to answer it quite easily. We have at least 30 or 40,000 people, young and old people, who have dreamt about running the Comrades Marathon. And if those who are tainting Comrades with all these lies and innuendos, they must just remember that those 30 or 40,000 people's dreams are going to be destroyed. And I think they will see justice done, because they will make sure that their voices are also heard.
Thank you. Any further questions? Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. My name is Fanele Mhlongo from SABC News. My question is, how will the board ensure continuity and stability in the organization during this transition period amid the challenges that the board is facing, that the CMA is facing right now?
Sorry, can you just repeat the first part? I didn't hear it too well.
how will the board ensure continuity and stability in the organization during this period?
Wow. Cooperation on the board by its members, by the board not having what one terms parking lot assassins. In other words, not looking after their self-interest, but looking after the interests of Comrades Marathon. It's happened in the past. We've seen it show its head in recent times, and there's no guarantee that it's not going to happen again. But if we collectively as a board think that somebody is doing wrong and trying to break that trust, okay, and destroy us, that person will be removed from the board unless you have those factions where they stick together and they buddies. That's got to be eliminated. When you sit at a board meeting and make decisions, you make decisions for the benefit of comrades, not for the benefit of your friends.
Thank you. Any further questions? Yes.
Another thing I wanted to ask was, you obviously touched on the fact that there were a lot of allegations online, misuse of funds, racist allegations, and corruption. With the board members that have left, is that the reason why they left, or were there other reasons to why they decided to leave the board themselves?
I believe the real reason they left the board was because of all the social media challenges that there are, the derogatory statements made by the board. I have been sitting in the chair now for how long, Elaine? Few days. And you know, I haven't gone to bed one night before 11 o'clock trying to solve some of the problems. And the stress, you don't sleep. Now, our past chairman and vice chairman had that stress, and they've been carrying that for how long? Since the marathon, just before the marathon? Before, not after, before, because the pressure was there. There's a tremendous amount of pressure on anybody sitting on the board, because our board has been divided, and I'll say that publicly, and that is going to stop. I have 2 months to stabilize things, and I hope I can do it and make our staff happy. But that is why they have left, because they felt in their heart of hearts that they couldn't take the pressure anymore, because that pressure goes to your family. Just think about it carefully before you write. And I'll leave that with you. There's a lot of pressure because there's thousands of people, 40, 50,000 people that rely on this association. And that's a lot of pressure. I don't think the president has the same pressure.
Thank you. Next question.
There'll be another lady. I'm not against ladies and women. I married one.
Is there no further questions?
Yes,
Are there-
Ish.
Tatem Simango from Top Run. My question goes to Chairperson. Was it an easy decision to come back to Congress?
Need you ask that question? Need you ask that question? It was very, very difficult. The easy part was that I've been involved here for 56 years. I've been on the board for 30 years. I've been chairman for 3 years, vice chairman for 3 years. And I've had a wonderful time. And then when we were called on to say that there was a problem, I vowed never to come back, because once I walk away from something, that's it. I don't get involved. I'll still be part of it, but no involvement. And this time, it brought tears to my eyes. That's why I'm here.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, can we have the next question? Yes.
Sorry, I just want to go back to your statement. You said you want to take a stand, which you've now said the reasons why of the cyberbullying, or some of the reasons why, and that you also want to clear all the allegations of corruption, theft, etc. Is there any time frames for this? Because I think the running community is concerned that this is still. It looks like there's real instability, one can put it. So I would imagine there's probably a time frame for the allegations, as you said, you want to have cleared.
Thanks. I think that's a very important question. The time frame is as soon as possible. We are hoping that within 2 months or 3 months, we're only serving there as appointees for two months, okay, to get a little bit of stability in the association. But it is a long-term thing. It's something that's is going to be with us for many, many years, and it'll probably always be there. The differences of opinion by board members, okay, and I'm referring to the board because the board is a vitally important part of Comrades. They're the ones who are going to steer the association into the right direction. And we're just hoping that the board that we have got now, the interim board, or interim board members, they call us not trustees, appointees. We're appointees. We hope that us appointees, being old-timers, can bring that stability in as soon as we possibly can. And I've been blessed up to now that we've had, I think, 3 board meetings in the last 2 weeks, that there is some stability coming back to the board.
Thank you. Next question.
And just how important is it to emphasize the fact that what happens internally within the board does not affect the Comrades Marathon race itself? Because some people might associate the two together and say, okay, if there are internal problems and there's a problem within the board, that means there's a problem with the race itself. Can we differentiate between those two things?
The race is only really affected by the people who sit in those offices over there. Those are the people that affect the race directly. Because if they don't do a good job, the race doesn't happen, or there are going to be major problems. The cohesion between the office and the board. The board direct the race in terms of the direction they want it to go in. The peripheral stuff, that's what the board handle. They don't handle the actual racing. There are subcommittees that do that. So what you find at the moment, the subcommittees, or the racing committees, race organising committees, are floundering because of the problems that there's been and allegations that there have been from the board, from management of the CMA. Okay? And that causes, or that will cause the race to actually deteriorate, purely because they are unhappy in the office. They're not going to do the job that they used to do, dedicate the time and effort to it. It'll become a job as a job, and I've got it. Okay? And we're hoping that the board will apply the same principle and say, hold on, I'm doing a job. I'm not getting paid to do the job. I'm doing it for love, not money. And if you love somebody, what do? You give it your best. You men, you ladies, if your partner's not doing the right thing by you, what are you going to do? You're going to be unhappy. You fix that problem up, and the whole family are happy, and that's what we hope is going to happen.
Okay. Yes, Jerry?
Mr. Chair, my name is Jerry from The Witness. You indicated earlier on that the problems were there before the race, not after the race. Then why CMA waited for so long for the problems to be tackled there and there, and to avoid more damage?
I can't answer that question really. I don't know whether Al can answer it, but just off my back, there will always be problems. It's how those problems are handled. And I mentioned the cohesion on the board and the cohesion in the office. If they don't all work together for the same goal, it's never going to work. I mean, I can take, if I propose something and 4 or 5 people agree on that proposal, and one person goes out of their way to destroy that proposal with those who are for it, it's not going to work. It'll never work. And that is a problem. No organization runs without problems. It's how they are handled at the end of the day. And if you can get over that, everybody will be happy. While we're fighting on the board, the staff are crying. They're getting depressed. They think the whole place is collapsing. So I don't know if that answers your question or not.
Can add on, Mr. Chairman, to address Jerry's question. Jerry, so a lot of the matters that came up at the special general meeting and on social media, the board had hoped and the organization had hoped to deal with those matters internally. Most of that should not have made it into the public domain because an organization such as the CMA could have dealt with almost all those issues internally. As the chairperson rightfully said earlier, it's a matter of people being mature and approaching the association, whether it be board members or management or the office, to say, I'm not happy as a runner, as a partner, as whoever it may be, or member of the public. Can we have a meeting? Can we discuss these issues? Unfortunately, things weren't done in that manner. But as an organization, we didn't want to be seen to be also in slinging matches and, dragging our name into disrepute or being unprofessional on social media. That's not the type of organization we are. So hence, to your question, in terms of being quiet on matters, we had hoped that we could have dealt with most of that internally. But unfortunately, that ran away with us at that time. Okay, next question.
I just, with this uncertainty on Congress and stuff, how do you think it will have a damage in terms of races in South Africa? Because we all know people enter marathons just to qualify, most of them to qualify for the Congress. Even the race organizers now, do you think it's going to have more damage in people organizing races across South Africa with all this uncertainty of Congress marathon and stuff?
Sorry? Sorry, would you like to answer it?
No. I'm saying, how will these uncertainties affect the road running community in South Africa?
As well as qualifying marathons across the country.
It shouldn't. It shouldn't affect any other organization. who organise races. There will still be qualifying races all over the country, but I don't think any of the issues that the CMA have at the moment will affect what's happening with other race organisers. I really don't believe that.
One of the other things that was discussed in the special general meeting last week, Thursday, I think it was allowing online attendance and voting at future CMA and AGMs. Is that something Comrades is accepting and happy about?
Don't ask me personal questions. All right. No. Obviously, we as the CMA have got to abide by the rules, regulations and constitution of the ASA and KZNA. And I mentioned the two bodies because our constitution has got to be aligned with those two constitutions. Otherwise, we cannot be an association or we cannot be a member of KZNA or ASA. And if we're not a member of those bodies, we cannot organise a race. So all I could say to that, because it is sub judice at the moment, there's a court case going on. We hope that it's the right outcome, whatever that may be, for or against. But it's not going to affect the other running clubs around the country in terms of organising races. But we are beholden to ASA ultimately. Their constitution, ours is in line with theirs, and all I will say, they've got to be aligned. And there's an interpretation. Everybody has an interpretation of various rules. And those interpretations should be spelt out in constitutions, and I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions?
You're the warrior. Okay, if there are no more questions for me, the
Sorry,
floor's
Mr.
open.
Chairman,
Sorry.
there's a question.
We were told that you guys are going to stay on the position until November.
Until the AGM, yes.
Yes. I just want to find out if maybe there is an interest and you get elected again, will you take the position again?
No.
Why not?
Well, I'm old. Okay.
Age is just a number.
It is a number. It brings wisdom as well, you know. But no, there are youngsters, younger people who can handle the operation, maybe even better than we can. Remember, we are old school and we think old school on the basic principles. So, no, I doubt very, very much, and I don't think my wife would permit it. Because if I did, I'd be over 80 while I'm sitting in the chair or on the board. So what I was going to say, if there are no other questions, and don't direct them to me, the board have asked for this meeting. So if you want to clarify certain things with them and ask them about some of the issues that you read in social media, and I must be quite honest, I don't read all that garbage. Okay. Because every time I did look at something and I'd put a little tick next to it, you know, say, I like. And then somebody put on the fake news. So I don't look at it. And it is all fake news. So please be free to ask any of the board members questions, but if they don't give you the answer you desire, they may turn around to you and say, it's sub judice, then understand they may be pressing charges against some of the defamatory statements that have been made by them, about them. Okay.
So is there, I think there's one more question.
My question is directed to Mr. Ngwenya. Mr. Ngwenya, with all the social media posts that we saw, how did that affect you, and why the reason you decided to remain on board as well?
Come up here. You want an answer from there? Okay.
Thank you for asking. First of all, I trust that you still have your cell phones in your pocket, because I'm labeled as a kleptomania, though it means everything is in my pocket, but I'm not what the media says. Yes, I stayed on the board because I was elected by the people. My term actually runs out next year, November. We have a system called a 5-4 for continuity. The things did affect me, but since they were all lies and without any substantiation, and I'm disappointed with people who do not know me, who have information, who will say it's a fact, when in actual fact, there is nothing like that. So maybe we'll prove it better in court when they can answer and reveal their sources. I know what you're talking about. Yes, corruption. There's no corruption in the board because all procurement, the guy who's standing there acting ROM is the procurement officer. All Comrades procurement is done through one system. 2, any payment is accounted for in the books. No board member, all my colleagues are any part of procurement. That I want to denounce now. So that when people say the hands of the Comrades board are in the cookie jar, they're talking nonsense, what we call fake news, because they want to agitate their people to say there's corruption. So if there is corruption, then why have we got such audit there? It's an insult to the vice chair who was our finance guru to say he has given false statements, or it's an insult to our external auditors to say they've given us audit that is not credible. That is how fake news is. But we'll deal with it because they all say it's sad news. It saddens me though, I'm gonna end now to say, when people see that, they say, how does Isaac stand this? Thank you for asking. I don't stand up lightly. It does depress you, but you say, I wanna stand for the truth. Those who know me, they know me. And they know what I stand for. So they will tell you it's uncharacteristic of Isaac to have done this. So what is the source? My friend says it's a tsunami that we need to get to. So names are there and you've seen it, but I will not get there. But if you push me, maybe you'll get more. That's all I can say for now.
Thank you. Can we have the next question? No further questions? I don't think there's any further questions, Mr. Chairman.
No further questions?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I think the members of the media would then like to do one-on-one interviews once we conclude the press conference, where they can then have their interviews with those specific board members or officials.
Okay, just a last word from me. Rest assured that all the allegations that have been made to us, I'm not saying through the media, I'm saying through the Comrades Marathon Association, we will be investigating those. They are internal investigations which will pertain to whatever they've been alleged to have done, okay? And we will not go to the media and say, oh, Jeff Minnow was fired because he did this, that, and the next thing. We'll just let you know that Peter Proctor has been fired, or he's been kicked off the board. Okay, so please respect that, because that is what we like to do. We don't like to denigrate anybody who's given their services to Comrades. Thank you very much indeed for coming. I hope you got the answers to the questions that you asked.
Thank you, everyone. And as I mentioned earlier, please do join us for some light refreshments as soon as we conclude now. Thank you very much and drive safely.
Thanks, Elaine. Well done. Okay. Thanks, Peter. Thanks for coming. Oh, this is all on. Thanks for coming. Oh, I missed this. Yeah, I know. I was hoping to get